I mean, traveling solo was, I guess, an accident for me. It's not like it was intentional. It just kind of like, I have no one to go with, so I guess I'm gonna go on my own.
Hostels, yeah, hostels can be nice, especially I always used to go for female dorms. Like I have never stayed in a mixed dorm just because.
Yeah, I was actually with a few German guys, and then we just were like, how fast can you guys run? Like, yeah, we were being watched from like all over. Like there were even little kids like tugging our shirt and trying to grab our wallet at the same time. But I feel like I could live off with just like 2 pairs of shorts and 2 tank tops.
Yes.
And 2 shirts.
I can confirm.
And I don't need any. Male definitely feel more privileged traveling solo. But get this is actually a fun fact. There are more female solo travelers than males. This is like an actual fact.
That's pretty cool.
In this video, my wife Jasmina and I will be sharing our solo travel experience and comparing it to one another. We'll be breaking down the comparison in different categories like safety, accommodation, interactions, clothing, transportation, packing, moving at night, and cultural judgment. But before we get into this video, consider subscribing to our channel for more travel content like these. And without further ado, let's get right into it. So the first thing we're gonna talk about is safety. I think for me overall, I felt very, very safe. Obviously there's times where I just feel like it's not as safe. So I just try to listen to my gut and not go. If something's off, obviously I would just like step away from it. And there are many times where I just didn't put myself in that situation. So definitely when something was, like I said, if something felt off, I would just step away and prevent anything from escalating. And I definitely feel like I could go anywhere. Obviously within reason, not trying to like be out late at night being the only tourist with like expensive cameras and like, I don't know, Nicaragua or something. Obviously I try to avoid those and still have some sort of common sense and practice, safety habits to prevent myself from getting into trouble. But overall, I felt very, very safe traveling solo as a male. So yeah. What about you?
Good for you. So for me, I definitely relate to what he said about making sure that you're not putting yourself in stupid situations. So I myself have always been very cautious no matter what I do, whether I'm traveling or not. But I do think that there is sometimes more risks. Like even though during the day, I just feel like sometimes, I can just be a target easily, where, I don't know. That's how I see it. But again, I don't put myself in dumb situations. Like I don't stay out too late. So I think it just depends. Depends also where you go. So,
I think the place plays a huge factor in terms of like what you can do.
Yeah.
So there's that. But I mean, I'm not saying like, I do have a few stories where it's like, for example, getting my drinks spiked.
Oh yeah.
So that's one thing. That could happen to anyone, but it definitely happened to me. What else? I was gonna say pickpocketing, but it didn't happen to me, but it did happen to the group of people that I was with.
Yeah.
So they got pickpocketed, lost their phones, money, wallet. But
I think for males, what's the biggest thing is because I've had some other people had this experience, and this one girl told me that this guy, he went, I think it was somewhere in South America, and they went to a bar and the guy kind of got taken away by a girl, and then like there's a bunch of guys that like basically robbed him, so took his money. So I think that's like one of the common things for guys, but
that's like in a specific region.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are some things that definitely happen to me, but I feel like that is part of traveling, and I feel like that could also happen to anyone.
Yeah.
But as far as safety goes, I just try not to put myself in that kind of like situation where things can escalate and get worse. So I try to be too 10 steps ahead, if anything.
No, same. I just think like, yeah, I'm just usually a bit more cautious, like extra cautious
Yeah.
when I'm on my own.
And obviously, we're a bit more privileged too, because, like, as a man, you can just take a taxi somewhere. Sure,
Yeah.
you might get robbed or anything, but like, you still, the chances of it happening is fairly low.
Yeah.
As opposed to, I guess, a woman where they can get taken advantage of.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's that. I feel like, yeah, as a male, definitely feel more privileged traveling solo. But get this is actually a fun fact. There are more female solo travelers than males. This is like an actual fact.
That's pretty cool.
It's cool, but also like strange at the same time, is it not? I don't know, maybe it's just me. But I think it's because like women just want to be independent.
They want the
And-
freedom, I feel
and
like,
the
because
freedom,
if
yeah.
you think about it, I think we'll get into this later because it's like on the list anyway. But I think it's also the social things, like there's like these like certain expectations, even for guys too, but
Yeah.
there's certain expectations for women, so it's like this is kind of like their gateway to freedom or something, where they
Yeah.
can just be on their own and just make their own decisions, not have anyone like tell them what to do. So I think that's more it. Which,
But that's such an interesting fact. And if you don't believe me, look it up, and we'll probably have like a little text here or a screenshot or something to
Yeah.
prove that, yeah, it's more common for females to travel alone. I think with males too, it's just more so they just want to be in a group or like traveling with someone.
Yeah.
That's also the weird part, because I feel like it would be the other way around. I don't know. Traveling solo was, I guess, an accident for me. It's not like it was intentional. It's just kind of like, I have no one to go with, so I guess I'm going to go on my own. And then kind of just like led from one thing to another, and I actually fell in love with it. For sure, I was very, very scared the first time flying off to Thailand. I was like, oh my God, what the frick am I doing? Like,
Yeah.
why am I doing this? So yeah, I was definitely nervous. Something I haven't experienced before, but it grew on me over time, and I really fell in love with it. But yeah, that is an interesting fact. But yeah, in terms of safety, I feel like definitely males, I don't know, that's just from my personal experience, I feel like we're more privileged, and we can pretty much do anything.
I agree with that.
Yeah, well, obviously to a certain extent, but
Yeah.
Okay, next we're going to talk about accommodation. And I don't know, do you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. So I think accommodation is something that I usually plan beforehand. I don't like book necessarily, but I kind of know what area I want to stay in. For me, I think it's more so the area than the accommodation itself. Like, I want to make sure it's a good area. I always avoid places where there's bars, clubs, or any of
Yeah.
that, just because people who are under the influence, they act really stupid sometimes. So I just want to avoid that situation. And yeah, I just don't like that environment too. So I think that's
Plus you
another
can't get
factor.
You can't get any sleep really.
Yeah, I hate it. I don't like
Especially
it.
in Vietnam, or like, what is that? It's just very like, I've stayed in hostels where it's just like right by the bar and you can't get any sleep. Well, at least I can't, but
Yeah. But I think in other terms, like accommodation-wise, like hostels, yeah, hostels can be nice. Especially, I always used to go for female dorms. Like, I have never stayed in a mixed dorm just because, one, I don't like it, it's uncomfortable, and there's just a lot of things that can happen, and I don't know, I just think it's a bit strange to share it with guys, and I don't know, it's just a bit much, like, no offense, but it's just
Yeah.
a bit weird for me. So
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
always just felt so much safer being in female dorms. Even when I have the choice to have my own room, sometimes I just go straight to the female dorms because it's nice to have that safety that there's like girls around you. I just think
Yeah.
it's just so much nice, because if something happens, let's say to one girl, then the others will come and attack, if anything. So that's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
But in terms of staying in my own place, which I have done many times, by the way, especially in Asia and Europe, I would always opt for it to make sure that there is like security or someone there. So I think we just need to do more research and read the reviews all the time. But yeah.
for me, accommodation, it's like, yeah, again, anywhere. It doesn't matter for me. I mean, yeah, when I was, especially in the beginning, I would just stay at the cheapest hostels, whether it was like mixed dorm or like males only. Like I would just pick whatever would fit my budget at the time. So yeah, anywhere, it really didn't matter for me. But what mattered to me more was actually where the hostel or place was located. Like Jasmina said, I didn't want to stay in a place where it's literally just above the bar, or like there's bars nearby, or it's like right at the center where there's like a lot of drunk people. I've done that way too many times in Vietnam, Thailand, and a lot of the Southeast Asian countries, unfortunately. But yeah, that was kind of like when I was just starting out, just because most of the most of the cheapest, most inexpensive places, or at least the hostels that fit my budget at the time, were around that area. So unfortunately, I had to go with that. But yeah, those were probably the worst places I've stayed at, to be honest.
Yeah,
Really.
so basically the thing is, I think the thing is like women tend to maybe splurge a little bit more like on the accommodation, and
Yeah.
I just think you can luckily go for the cheapest, even though sometimes it sucks.
There's, I guess, the privilege again of traveling as a solo male traveler. But yeah, next one is interactions. Okay, so for this one, same thing. I would literally talk to anyone and everyone. Obviously, I'm gonna like gauge to see if they have good vibes or not. If we obviously don't align or something, or we don't just vibe, then I would stay away from those people. But generally speaking, I feel like I could talk to anyone. Anyone can approach me, and vice versa. There's that in terms of when it comes to social interactions. But yeah, what about you?
I think for me it's mixed. So when I used to travel on my own, I would approach people, but I think I would not do it as often, just because, again, like I'm very cautious about these things, but whenever I do, it's always good. I mean, people always assume that I have good intentions just because I'm me. And I would also get approached quite often, and I think that's a really good thing, especially if you're a bit antisocial like myself. It's a very good thing. So I made a lot of friends because of it, but sometimes, unfortunately, it does happen that, I do get unwanted attention, so I have to come up with excuses and things to get away from the situation. So that's that. But other than that, I've had mostly very good experiences, met very good friends to this day. So I think more so, I get approached a lot.
Yeah, and I think whether you're traveling, as a female or male, as long as you're traveling solo, you're gonna meet people. That's just the way it is with traveling.
Yeah.
But next we're gonna get into clothing. And clothing is funny because they can go in multiple ways in terms of like how we want to talk about this. For one, let's talk about clothing in terms of just like what you're gonna be bringing to a certain country. I feel like I could live off with just like 2 pairs of shorts and 2 tank tops.
Yes.
And 2 shirts.
I can confirm.
And I don't need any sort of makeup or I am high maintenance, but not that high maintenance, if that makes sense. I say that because I do need sunscreen. That's first and foremost. I do need sun protection for sure. And then, unfortunately, I have camera gear. So I'm going to take that. But it's not clothing. I would rather have 90% of my backpack, with camera gear, and then just like, I don't know, 2 pairs of shirts and what do you call the shorts, sandals, footwear, whatever. And that's it. I can go with that. So I think that's a difference.
Yeah, that's true. I think, I think the thing is that everyone is different. Everyone is different, but I think most of us girls, we tend to pack more things, especially clothes. I pack a lot of clothes, even though I know I'm not going to really wear most of them, but I do try to be smart about it, especially so that I can mix and match things with, because we take a lot of photos. It's just the truth. We take lots of photos, so we just want to make sure we have different outfits for each photo and different occasions, because you never know what's gonna happen, so you just want to be ready for everything.
Yeah.
But another thing that we do take into consideration is, depending where we are going, is what is like there culturally accepted, because certain countries are more stricter in terms of what women wear. So example, in some countries they don't want women to show shoulders at all, their knees, or like that kind of thing. So we do pack more things for guys. I mean, I know that in some places
there's just more flexibility.
More
for
flexibility.
Men. Like
I
going
remember,
into temples, like we can just wear shorts, whereas females, it's like, no, you gotta have your legs
sarong
covered
or
up.
something.
Yeah. So yeah, that's, I guess, another difference. Speaking of clothing, we might as well talk about packing. Now, I mentioned that I like to carry my camera gear when we're traveling, so that's already a given. But I think, yeah, that's the only thing that kind of holds me back. I think it's just the camera gear. Aside from that, clothing, any maintenance stuff, like I don't really.
I think it's just easier for you to squeeze it in, like, I don't know, because you are like high maintenance, but you can squeeze like the low things. For us, it's like we need, most of us use makeup, sanitary things, and we just have a whole list of a lot of things that we have to pack, and always the just in case things as well.
Yeah. Okay, next we're gonna move on to transportation. Do you want to go first?
Yeah, so I think with transportation, it's also a thing that I check before I go into the country, but my transport choices usually are ride-hailing apps. That's the one that I always go for, just because it's safe and it's like tracked on an app, so if anything were to happen, like, you just know where you are, they know where you are, which is really good. But I am very adventurous with trying public transportation. So yeah, I've gone on the sleeper buses, especially in Asia, had a good experience there, nothing bad happened. It was a lot of fun. But in terms of trains and things like that, I do tend to avoid them, because I did have a bad experience at one point, and also I just don't like them too much, just because, especially at night, I avoid it at all costs, because there's loads of weird people on there, so I just avoid it. So yeah, there's that. But ride-hailing apps are my to go.
Yeah, same here. I mean, again, I feel fairly safe as a male traveler taking all sorts of transportation. I think there was only a few occasions where it felt really weird and awkward. For example, India, I was on my way to Agra to see the Taj Mahal, spent the overnight sleeper, the overnight sleeper train. And then there were like these three men just staring at me the entire time. I mean, getting stared at in India is just like, I got used to it. I spent 2 months in India. But then on this particular train, on the same kind of like cabin or whatever, there were these men just like looking at me the entire time. And I'm just like, I don't think I'm going to go to sleep tonight, just because I don't feel like it. And I have a bunch of stuff with me just in case. But obviously they passed out, and I ended up getting some sleep, but that was just like a weird kind of like interaction at the sleeper train. So, but again, it was kind of expected for me because it was India. But yeah, that was the only weird kind of like, thing that happened. I'm sure there's other ones, but that's the one that stands out to me at the moment. And I feel like I could go literally hop on a stranger's like scooter. I've been offered many times to get on someone's scooter. I said no, but obviously there's times where you just like, I'm just gonna go there, and it's out of kindness. Like, it's mostly in Thailand, really. Thai people are very, very kind and friendly, and so I felt safe. Obviously it's kind of not the same as like going to Latin America. It's also understanding geography. I don't want to say that this country does more crime than this country. It's just like doing your research first, I think, is a big thing. For example, in Colombia, let's just be specific, if you go out as a male and you're alone and there's like, Latinas going after you, it's like you just see this everywhere. If you did your research, you would know not to go with them. It doesn't matter if they tell you look amazing and handsome. They do the same thing in Thailand for massage. They're gonna tell you you're handsome and beautiful.
That is so
just to get your money in. But like, if you're clueless, then yeah, you're gonna get scammed or worse, get robbed, like in Latin America. So I think research has a lot to do with it. So that's why I feel comfortable or confident that I can do this. Obviously, I've made a lot of crazy mistakes, got scammed, lost things, you know, traveling alone, but nothing crazy big, kind of like a life-changing thing really happened to me where it's like, oh, I was so close of losing my life or something like that. But yeah, I think doing your research is a big part of it.
yeah.
And okay, next, speaking of transportation, let's talk about being active at night or doing activities at night. I definitely do feel much safer, although like I said, there was this one time where a drink of mine got spiked, you know, when I just started out. And I knew, by the way, that this was common and this happened in this particular country, Cambodia to be specific. And yeah, good thing I was with people that actually just met, and then they took care of me, and obviously they told me what happened. But yeah, luckily. And plus, that's the other thing, like I would never go out late at night alone. I think it's always like in my solo traveling years, I've always gone out with someone, or you know, someone I at least know and can trust, or like a group. That was just always me. Maybe there were a few times where I went out at night, but that was to grab dinner.
Yeah.
But not into like any crazy, you know, activities like, you know, spending the night past 10 p.m., 11 p.m. or midnight or something like that. But yeah, I feel very safe at night. The only time, and again, going back to Latin America, this was in Nicaragua. I was out with a group of people and we made the wrong turn and we got cursed at. Yeah. They were definitely gang members. They were gang. I don't know if I can say that, but they were definitely part of a gang, and they were cursing at us. Didn't know much Spanish back then, but I definitely knew some curse words, so that really helped. And then yeah, I was actually with a few German guys, and then we just were like, how fast can you guys run? Or like, yeah, we were being watched from like all over. Like there were even little kids like tugging our shirt and, you know, trying to grab our wallet at the same time. But yeah, we just made the wrong turn. It was late at night, but that was probably the closest I've gotten to a close call, I guess.
Wow.
But yeah, other than that, I rarely put myself in those situations. And I'll just let you know that was actually probably one of, you know, I guess the beginning of my solo travel. So I still didn't have much experience. Like I researched things, but I still wasn't as experienced as I am now. So yeah.
For me, I avoid at all costs. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's in some countries, in some specific places that I did walk at night just because it's safe. Like example, in Greece or Athens, there it's like fine, like nothing's gonna happen. But if you go in Colombia or Peru or somewhere at night.
Let's just say Latin America.
Latin America.
Most of the countries.
Even some places in Asia too, but it depends. It just depends more so where you go. But I most of the time do avoid it and don't put myself in situations like that. And when I would go on my own, it would just be to grab dinner, and it would usually be, depending what country I'm in, it would usually be a pretty early dinner, just so that I can go home and it's still light outside. So I think I'm a little bit more restricted when it comes to night, depending where I am though, because
The last one is a cultural judgment. For me, like I said, I feel like we have more freedom as a male. For example, like we talked about going into temples, let's just say Thailand, you know, where she has to wear a sarong, it's mandatory, whereas maybe I may get away with just wearing shorts or something. But normally I would wear pants in temples anyways. But let's say there's a temple that we passed by and we're like, oh, we want to check it out, and we weren't prepared for it and we just wanted to stop on the way, then I most likely could get away with just wearing, you know, my swimming trunks. Yeah, shorts.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, she may get away with it too. Like females may get away with it too, but it's.
I think it's pretty rare. It's strict when it comes to that. Yeah. Is there anything else you want to add to that?
That's all.
Okay.
What about you?
I I think there's a lot of judgment, like, I don't know about now, but like I think the earlier years, like a few years back, there's like this judgment about women traveling on their own just because they're trying to scare you into it. Like, oh, if you travel alone, you're gonna get, you know, something's gonna happen to you. Whereas like even if you stay in your own home country for the rest of your life, something can also happen to you there. So I'm like, why would you just listen to people? And the other thing is, this always comes from people who never even leave their own country. They maybe go to the neighbor country and that's it, or they just listen to the news and they put all these ideas into us saying that it's so dangerous out there. So I think that's one of the things, and yeah, there's just judgment around that. Or I think another thing is the age also. Like if you're a certain age, like maybe if you're in your 20s, you won't get judged as much, but I feel like if you're in your 30s, 40s, even 50s, or even if you're younger than that, if you're under
Depending
20s,
on where you are.
people are gonna literally give you so much smack for that because they're saying, oh, you should be at home and, you know,
with your kids,
with your
and, like,
kids.
raising a family or
I'm
something.
like, what? Like even if when we do have kids, we're still gonna travel. So there's that also. But there's just this judgment, this expectation that, okay, once you reach over 25 or 30, you need to be at home, not do anything with your life, but just take care of your
Which
kids.
is so unfortunate. That's just how the society shaped people to perceiving or seeing things, but yeah. And that's the difference between traveling solo as a female versus a male. And we hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, you already know what to do. Give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe to our channel if you haven't done so yet, and we'll see you in the next video.